this thing rolling. Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Purpose Podcast. My name is Travis Holton. I'm a man of action. I walk with growth, honor, and faithfulness. I'm a warrior, ignited with purpose from the One Most High. I got my beautiful wife here with me, Miss Jillian Holton.
Yeah, and the baby.
And the baby,
That's
little
the only
Mia is
difference
here.
now is I'm pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, she's my beautiful and amazing wife here, and she is just the best. So I'm so happy to be on the podcast with her. We're just gonna really just have a conversation together and really just go from there, because I think we got a really good topic to talk about today, and I'm just excited.
Yeah,
So,
I am too. We've been talking about this like all night. I feel like.
We have. We went to dinner and we were talking about what we're going to talk about on the podcast for like an hour and a half probably, and on the drive there and back. And we were just really excited just to share this with y'all. So we basically got a
big topic, I feel like.
Yeah, big topic, but we got a little head start on practicing, I guess, before the podcast. So yeah, I'm just going to pray before we get into it. Dear God, thank you for this day. God, thank you for everything you do for us. God, I pray that you just use us, God, and you speak in us and through us. God, I pray that what you have is for somebody today. God, I pray it just opens their eyes. God, it gives them just a whole new lens to look at life. God, I pray that you just take everything that we say, God, and you just use it in somebody. God, I pray that this podcast just catches a ton of eyes. God, in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
If you hear a little whining in the background, Lucas is a little mad. He's laying right behind the camera, just like, come on, guys.
You just got home, come play.
Yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, so what we want to talk about on the podcast today is relationships. More importantly, like two big topics we wanted to touch on is how you know that you found the right person, and really like the importance of building relationships, why you should build a relationship, and really just like how to know whenever you met somebody that you should just invest in and spend your life with them, and just topics like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard topic to talk about nowadays, because everybody just thinks everybody's kind of out to get them, and everybody's really a bad influence on them.
Or that like, oh, I can do it by myself. Like that self-worth that I'm the best. Nobody can do it better than me. I don't need anybody else, like that mindset, which actually ends up, I think, destroying us, not helping us at all.
Hold up. Come here, Luca. Come here. Quit whining. Come say hey. Come here. I know you're terrified of the floor for some reason. Come here, buddy. He's like, no, I don't want to get in the way,
like,
guys.
I don't do cameras.
Come here, Luca. Come here. Come say hey.
Come on.
Come here.
Come on.
Why is he like terrified right now?
I don't know. But yeah, like that, I feel like we live in a generation of very like, I can do it by myself.
I don't need anybody else but
yes.
myself. And I think it's okay to be in that headspace. Like we were just talking about this. The most important thing, honestly, in building great relationships is to build yourself up first, to self-invest in yourself, to start becoming the best version of yourself that you can be. And I think that's what it takes. You have to have a very open mind about who you are as a person, but you can't really be influenced by people, because you just have to steady just you and God, just start building yourself up. And then I feel like that is whenever God starts putting all these amazing people in your life for specific reasons. He's like, okay, you're starting to become the man that I need you to be. So guess what? I'm going to start putting people in your life that you need just to become better.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in my own life. And I think it all started whenever you walked into my life. Like, that's how it was. That's how it was true. That's just how it was. I was going down such a dark path, like, for such a long time. And as soon as she walked into my life, I like, instantly became a better person. And that's how, like, I knew that she was my person, because you make me a better man every single day. You make me live up to my word. You really look at my relationships with people. She continues to allow me to grow, and she sees that. And before her, I could never do this. I could never talk. And I think she was the first person that came into my life and was instantly like, I want you to talk and I need you to talk, and I see that in you. And that's what
We literally sat down. He just went quiet, and I was like, "No, I want to hear you. Like, I'm not talking, you're gonna talk." And we just said this. Like, ironically enough, I'm the type that I usually like to talk a lot, but with him, I like to listen. And he was like the opposite of that. Like, he wanted to listen, and I didn't want to talk. And I was like, "No, I'm telling you, like, you're the one that needs to talk. Like, you have things that need to be heard." But I've always felt that way.
Yeah, and I never felt that way about myself ever. I felt like growing up, I was always that person that no one wanted to listen to me. I was such an outcast. I always got spoke over in school. I used to get made fun of whenever I'd talk. So I think just growing up, like, that was my mindset behind every time I'd open my mouth. Like, do these people really even want to hear me? Because in my own mind, it's like, nah, they don't even want to hear me. I used to get, spoke over. I did everything I could just to try to fit in. Whenever that didn't work, it just like I just quit talking.
Yeah.
So whenever she told me that, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can speak now.
And I feel like that was the enemy silencing you. Like, he's like, God knew you had a lot to say, but like the enemy does too. Like, people don't realize that. Like, the enemy knows exactly what you're doing at the same time as well. So he was trying to silence you and be like, no one wants to listen. No one cares about that. Oh, maybe this person really doesn't care, but the next person did. Or maybe even, like, the people around you were, like, not showing that they cared, but they needed to hear. And you're like, oh, well, what's the point? But, like, the enemy's so good and smooth with how he, like, does things that he'll keep you trapped in that and make you think it's for your own good.
Yeah, but it's not.
No.
And I think something that you do really well is you see the best in people. And I think it's what you did in me. You seen the best in me, and you just like instantly started speaking life into me, like right then and there. And that's kind of what forced me to start having a relationship with God, to let God bring out the best in me, and for me to just really lean on God every single step of the way to just bring out everything that he has in me, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I think he's brought out so much in you. But, like, at the same time, you were helping me. Mm-hmm. It was, like, definitely two-way. I always say, I'm like, Travis is a patient, loving. Like, he's a better half of me. And he always says that about, like, me, which is probably, like, the one thing we'll argue about. It's like, no, you're definitely better than me. Yeah, I feel like ever since I met you, like, you were caring. And then, like, your heart was so big. And you're like, I'm going to go help people. And I was like, why? You're just so willing, or like you show up every day. Or when when you ran out of gas, and you were like, no, you don't have to come help me. I'll just run 6 miles. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, no, I'm on my way. Like, I'm almost there, but willing to just do it by himself.
This was
literally
also
run 6 miles on his way to work.
Yeah. So what happened was, I think this is the day I met you. The day before this, I think.
Yeah, it was a couple days.
Yeah, it was a day or two.
It was like, 2-3 days.
It was like, like instantly. Basically, I met her like the night before, maybe a couple days before this, and I'm on my way to work. I think I'm parked on a slope. So whenever I leave my house, I had like 60 miles until empty. I remember seeing it, like 61 or 63 miles until empty or something. I remember seeing, I'm like, okay, well, I can get gas. Like, I had like a 30-minute drive probably, so I was like, I can get gas like halfway there. And, somewhere along the way, I just ran out of gas. And I think Jill was, like, just talking to me, or we were Snapchatting, and she kind of was, I think.
He wasn't going to tell me either. He's like...
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, I was like, what's wrong? What were you...
Yeah, what's happening? I was like, well, I ran out of gas, and people I called aren't showing up. So I didn't really know a lot of people in Gainesville. So I was just like, all right, well, I got 5 miles to the gas station. So 5 miles there, 5 miles back. I'll get it in, I guess.
Yep, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm on my way. Like, I'll be there to pick you up. And I think he already had gone, like, 2 miles by the time I did get there. Yeah. But even that, like, I was like, he's just different. Like, anybody who knows Travis knows that, like, he's just different. And I feel like that's how people, like, explain you. Like, he's different. You don't meet anybody that will, like, work as hard or just speak, like, life or actually care, like, going back to relationships, like, truly care about people, not just say, I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. I want what's good for you. Like, he'll come home and he'll be like, I want to make this guy better. Like, how do we do it? How do we do it? Or how do I help him? How do I pray for him? What's this? What's that? Like, truly, he wants to bring other people up. And I mean, I've definitely been like this before, where I say I want that, but I don't actually do that. He does that, and he does it every time. Like, I'm like, how do you even like? You care so much, and you balance it so well.
It's not even
crazy.
like I don't just want people to be doing good. I really want to use everything that I've been gifted with, not just for them to be good, but for them to be better off than me. Like
Yeah,
I
and you can see that.
truly want people to be better off than I am. I want to literally like feed into people, like I will pour everything out into you. You could take everything that I say and you could use it to go create a business or do absolutely anything. I will do everything that I can, and that's
Yeah.
for anybody. And then I think whenever you get to that point, that's when your relationships just start growing, because people see
Yeah.
that and they want to instantly reciprocate it. People are
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my God, like
I mean,
I see
well,
that
like
in you.
I know you kind of like explain this in different ways, but like, you don't want to be that person that like, you're the start of a relationship. Like, you're gonna
Mm.
plant a seed, not the other person. Even if the other person doesn't care, or if it really is the other person not wanting to build a relationship, you have to start it. But you have to be able, willing, ready to start a relationship. And if you don't have God in your life, first off, it's gonna fail. You don't have the right morals, you're not looking up to the right things. But at the same time, you don't even care about yourself. Like, why does somebody want a relationship with you? And that's so realistic. Like, God wants a relationship with everybody, but He also can't, because He gave us free will. And if we don't even have the free will to even want literally the best gift that we've ever been given for free, why would we want a relationship with somebody like that?
You wouldn't. I mean, that's just how it is.
And that's where it starts, with
And
all.
I was thinking about this while you were talking. It was Guy Jones told me this all the time. I think Steve Weatherford says it a lot. There's 4 areas in life that you don't have to be winning in, but you need to show up in. He's like, and that's kingdom, family, health, and wealth. And I say this all the time. I absolutely love that. But at the center of that all is how much can I grow? Can I grow with God? Because what comes first is I have to be willing to have a relationship with God. I have to be willing to want to show up for my family every single day. I have to
Purpose.
what's your purpose every single day? I have to be willing to be healthier, eat cleaner, go to the gym every single day. And at the end of that, like I have to be willing to put in the work every single day to start a business, to start making more money, to lead men or to lead women, to lead the people in your circle. I feel like at the center of that, it starts with how much work are you willing to put into yourself to grow, to read, to have a relationship with God, to go from having a religion with God and having a relationship with God to communicating with God like He's a friend, you know? And I mean, that's the same thing it took with me before you walked into my life. I told you I wrote this in my Bible. I wrote down 20 things I wanted in my future wife, and I prayed for that every single day. And for, 22 years of my life, whatever it was, 21, 22 years, I lost sight of all that. I had no idea what I wanted anymore.
Yeah.
And I lost my purpose. And as soon as I started praying for that, it's like a month, 2 months after that, it's exactly whenever you walked into my life and you checked off every single thing on that list and more.
Yeah, and that's what God. I mean, seriously, that's what God does. It's like you can never even think it up. Like like I say, when I met you, like I'm like, he's different. Like not only does he care, like he loves, but like just a stand-up guy. Like that's who I'd want like my kids to grow up looking up to. It's who I'd want to see be a father, because I know he's going to be a good father. Like he loves the Lord. Like just so many things where even though you didn't see it in you, like. Yeah, I could just tell. Like, I just knew it. I knew it was going to be bigger than him, bigger than me. And it was definitely God's plan, God's wisdom. And he's the one that brought us together, helped build that relationship. Like, the little things he does behind the scenes. But if we would have met 5 months earlier, like, wouldn't have worked. It would have been us that was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be at a place where we truly both believed in God and both wanted the same thing.
Agreed.
And both trusted him to bring us together in a relationship form. Like you cannot get a relationship on your own, by yourself, with your own free will, when you're sitting there looking for it all the time. It's just not going to come.
No, it's not. And I would not be the person that's sitting here today. I wouldn't be. There's no telling where I'd be at if it wasn't for her. If it wasn't for Jill, I have no idea where I'd be at, what I'd be doing. I would be lacking purpose. I would have never even wanted to be the man that I am today, or not even knowing of what I could become if it weren't for you, honestly. And I think that's basically what I wanted to model this entire podcast around is, how do you know how do you know that you should start investing your time in someone? How do you know when someone has good intentions? How do you know the people that, I should do life with every single day? Because it's all the relationships in your life. It's your spouse, it's your family, it's your friends, it's the people that you look up to, all these people that you spend time with. How can you, one, impact their lives, and who are the people that I should start, putting more time into because they're trying to get better?
Yeah.
How do you know somebody's true intentionality behind everything? And I think that's what the topic of this podcast is going to be about. And I think the most important thing is someone has to be willing to, okay, like I'm willing to listen. Mm-hmm. He respects me as a person. He respects my values, my morals, and he has to have that willingness to listen and want to get better. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, like, not only like I'm gonna start pouring out into you, but what do you got for me now?
Yeah,
you're willing to give back, like instantly. Like, okay, well, even though that you're way up above me, this is what I learned today. Yeah. Guess what I'm coming to tell you. This is something I thought of all by myself. This is something God spoke into me today just for you. And I feel like there are very few people on this earth that are like that. At least
that's true.
You're not seeing it a ton every single day, walking around, of people who are like, even just like calling just to like check in with you.
Right.
Like, I do my best to even people.
Life gets too busy.
Exactly.
And that's our excuse for everything. Life gets too busy. Like, life gets too busy to read the Bible. Life gets too busy to go to church. Life gets too busy to give God any time. Mm-hmm. And that's, you get so caught up that it's like, the most important thing is time. Your time is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And we say that, like, your own growth, your own time, your own relationships, but money doesn't buy any of those things. Busyness doesn't buy any of those things. That pushes everybody away. Like, focusing in on those things, working on yourself, being willing to build relationships. And if you have, like, a good relationship but not a good friendship, like, watch how your relationship grows, because I think that is another, like, big topic of, like, how you should have a friend, how you communicate, how you're willing to bring them up but also be able to tell them the truth. Mm-hmm. Without bringing them down, because you don't need to bring people down, but you definitely need to be there to be like, hey, this isn't you, this isn't your best, but guess what, I was the same way, I was in the same place, being willing to bring them up, not just tear them down.
Yeah, like, I know this wasn't the best you, and I know that I've seen the best you. I've seen you be better than this. I've seen you speak better than this. I've seen just everything. It's like, we were talking about this today, and it's like, the people you should start surrounding yourself with are the people that would tell you that, you got a booger in your nose.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, it's funny, but
no, it's true.
Someone would literally, like, it sounds so bad, but someone wouldn't tell you that you're walking around with a booger in your nose. You could be trying to close $1 million, $100,000 deals, $1 million deals, and you're going to talk to these people. You're going to talk to these entrepreneurs, these business owners, and your friend right next to you could have a big booger in your nose and no one will tell you anything. Yep. He wouldn't tell you anything. But the people who want you to be better, the people who want you to rise and to go to the next level would be like, dude, clean that up. You got something in your nose, clean that up, because guess what? That, even just something that small, it leads to bigger things.
Yeah.
And for you to call somebody out, like, I mean, I guess in that situation, you're not really calling somebody out, but you're telling them. Right. Like, you got something going on, and this is just something very small that can just help you.
Yep.
Help you talk to that person a
little
better. And
it puts you in gear. Like, you could be in park and not going anywhere, but someone tells you something, you're like, okay, you're right, this isn't me. Like, oh, you're right, let me fix that, because I am the best sales guy, but with that, that's going to hinder me. So putting somebody in gear to be able to move forward, to go, to be their best selves, like it's all about building a relationship. And that's not just, you don't just do that once. Like, that's the whole relationship. You're continually building each other with blocks. And that's the goal of any relationship. Like, it shouldn't be here's this, now what do I get back? No, like, I'm going to try to grow you whether you want to grow me or not. Like, I love you enough to know, like, you're God's child. Let me grow you up to your potential. Because you see that in people. You want that in people. And they might not accept that. But we just talked about this as well, like, praying for the right words, the right wisdom to be able to communicate with people. And that's going to, allow them to open up to receive it. That's going to grow relationships more than we can imagine.
It's so hard. That's why you got to pray for the right words, because you could put something down, but somebody may not want to pick it up. And that's going to like the hardest thing to say all the right stuff, and for people to have really like that openness. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what you say. It truly doesn't. If they're not open to receive it and open to hear and listen and learn from what you're saying, then sometimes it just doesn't matter. And I guess those are like the people that they don't really want to be in your circle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's just some people that like, listen, I'm still going to try, but at this point I might have to just love you from a distance. And I'm still going to try, but you can only do so much.
Right. You can only do so much for people. Never change who you are, but don't allow yourself to give all that energy to A, while B, C, and D need your energy as well. Like, everything God has to pour into you, they need it too. God uses us to speak through people and to people. So I feel like that's like a good point too. Yeah. You never stop loving and caring about people, but you do have to have definitely boundaries. And that comes from your self-growth, working on yourself and your relationship.
Yeah.
Especially with God.
All through college, I was a chameleon, just trying to fit in with people. I talked about this. We have a little Teams call like once a week, and I came up with the idea that, we should have someone else speak every single day, because it just builds people up. You get paid on how well you can speak. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
I wish you guys knew how big of a deal this was, though, because at first, like, even when my friends met Travis, they're like, he's so quiet. Like, he doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't do this. And so for him to be doing this is just crazy.
I think it's so cool to be like, you get paid based on how well you can speak. How even like to your spouses, to the people that you're trying to build up, to be a leader to, how well can you communicate what you're trying to get your point across to? And it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
Even like if you're trying to sell something to people, like you still have to be able to communicate all the details and use all the right words in order to get your point across.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what was my thought behind like the Teams meeting, and I was speaking about this. And it was about like, I used to be a chameleon, just like fitting in with everybody in college. And now, since I graduated and I started having a relationship with God, and I started building these relationships behind me and started becoming my own man, I'm like, I don't cuss anymore. I don't drink anymore. And to me, like, doing all this, it's not saying much. It's like little things. It's not a heaven or hell thing. It's an excellence thing. Like, I want to be excellent, because I know someday I'm going to have a lot of people in my life that look up to me, that I'm a leader to, and what I do in moderation, the people that look up to me might do in excess.
Yeah.
So I think that is why that is so important, to be your own man, and to be your own, not even man, just to be your own person, and don't let no one else influence you except for, the people that you look up to, really. Yeah. Because they have good relationships with their family. They have a good relationship with God, They show up in all those, I think those 4 categories are so important. And that's I think that is who you surround yourself with, is people that have the same values you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the people that don't.
Like the closest to you especially, like you want that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those 2 points that we kind of hit on, like, one, where's your relationship with God at? Because that's ultimately gonna control everything with your life. And then where's your relationship with yourself? Mm-hmm. And then focus on trying to build relationships. Not even if you're in a stuck state of like, I'm never gonna date anybody. Like, don't do that. Instead, work on where you can work on yourself and your relationship with God, and allow yourself to pray for that and wait.
If you're
for
at that point, it's almost like it's a big talked about topic. Like hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
So if you're just hurt and you're already feeling down about yourself, the only thing that you're gonna do is start, like hurting the people around you because you're just so like down on yourself. So the first thing to do, I'd say, is to start building yourself up.
Yeah. We say that. We say it all the time. If you're not built up, you're never gonna build other people up. That's for sure. And so I know we do have some Bible verses that we liked from that kind of helped
touched
us.
on the subject.
Yeah, like what we think relationships are. I think you had. Would you have one or two?
Yeah, I think I screenshotted two of them.
I know we both really like this. Romans 12:10. Love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. Oh, such a big word. I love honoring each other because that's truly what we should be doing. And that is such a hard word for, I struggle sometimes with the people you have problems with, don't agree with, but you should still honor them.
And respect them too. It's so, in our sermon at church, it's just like plain and simple, like respect your elders. Guess what? A lot of these people have already been through some of the same stuff that you've been through, and a lot of these people
and more.
Yeah, have way more experience in life than you. So why not listen to some people? Why not? There's no bad teachers in this world. They're just bad learners.
Yes.
There's just bad students. So you can learn from everybody. Doesn't matter what they're doing in life, where they're at. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can learn from everybody. So that, I think, is very important. And what I wanted to talk about, this is like one of the verses that I said was in Ephesians 4:15. It says, "Instead, speak the truth in love. We will grow to become, in every respect, the mature body of Him who is the head in Christ."
Mature, and I love that mature word in there. I think that just kind of like brings it all for full circle.
And then,
because again, that's like with your elders, like that's
respect.
Yeah.
I love that word. But it says, this verse states that we should speak the truth in love, and that we should be forthright in our communication with others. So it's just being upfront with people. Like I said, like, tell people the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts, but sometimes that's what people need to hear the most.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, honestly, it may be hurtful sometimes, but that's exactly what people need to hear the most sometimes. And you don't have to be hateful about how you present it. You can present it in a very, bright and upright kind of way. But sometimes they just have to honestly just be told the, like, God honest, like, hard truth sometimes.
Yeah.
In order for them to grow and to be better. Like, sometimes it hurts to say it, but at the end of the day, it's what's gonna get through to them the most.
Oh yeah. And we all need it. We still work on that all the time, and we'll talk to each other and we'll be like, hey, like, this is what we could be doing better and working on, because that's what it's about. And I think that's one thing we have gotten really good at, though. Like, we don't take offense when we tell each other, like, hey, we can work on this, because we work on it together, like we're a team. But we do it very, like, it's like gentle love, but it's the truth at the same time, and communicating that properly. So yeah, I like that. That's good.
And communication in general is a big thing. Like it just said. You got another one?
Yeah. I would say my other favorite one would be Colossians 3:13, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, even as Christ forgave you, so you must also do. And so I'll be honest, it's a hard thing to do when somebody really hurts you and like puts you in a bad place. It's so hard to forgive them, but forgiveness is for you, because it doesn't hurt the other person as much as you think it does. No. It hurts yourself. Like, you isolate, you hurt the people around you, all because of like hate builds from unforgiveness. And so that was so powerful to me. And once you really truly start working on that, your relationships get better, because you're not holding grudges. you're not expecting a person to be perfect. They're not. We're all human. God's the only perfect one, and we're all human. And if He understood and knew that and still loved us, like, we should do the same justice back to the people around us.
I agree. That's so good. It's hard for some people, I think, to understand that and to listen to that. But I mean, it's so true.
Still work
because
I still work through that, you know. I'm still trying to be perfect with that.
I feel like I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm like great at it, but
you're good at it. Yeah.
To just having patience in people and being able just to listen and you just can't let the like hard times get the best of you. You got to understand there's a reason for it, and you may not even understand it. It's like just something that God has put in your life as a trial to see how you react. You know, to see, okay, let's see what He does, and let's see if He can, or they. It doesn't matter if he or she. See, how do they react to what I put in their life? What do they do? What do they do now?
Right.
And I think it's using, you know, some of the hard times so you get to them. It's because of that person that you become at the end of it, and the person you become at the end of the storm. And I think that's why God throws in some curveballs sometimes, because you never know what you're going to expect, and you never know what's going to come at the end of it.
Yeah. I mean, even with like, I don't know if you said this on here, but like my dad passed away in June, and I could have been so angry at like just so many things, so many people, God, like everything, but like the amount of like beauty and blessing He brings even out of like such terrible things. And if you take a step back and realize like, wow, like He really does make good out of these things, it's so much easier to be like loving and understanding and see beauty in brokenness instead of seeing it opposite. But you have to be willing to see that. And I feel like that's like kind of like what you said. Like I to everybody else, I had every reason to be angry. Yeah. At everybody. Like, I could have been angry at you just because I was angry, you know. Mm-hmm. And I never did that, and I won't do that. But to take a step back and like see the beauty in such like hurtful and damaged things, mm-hmm. really like a whole new outlook on life.
Yeah, and like you said, you had every reason in the world to be mad at the world, to be mad at God, to question God at that point, right? Because it's like, God, you know, you already did this to me. Now you had to go and do this, you know? So it's almost like you're at that point where it's like, what am I supposed to do now? And I feel like even at that point, you still put your faith in God, and you were still able to see, even in the bad situation, like you said, all the beautiful things, it's still around, and still, you know, how I'm still able to still be the person I am and have these people surrounding me that just help me out, and all these people that are, you know, they're just still communicating with me and still showing up in my life every single day. And I think that's what's truly amazing about it. And sometimes maybe it takes that to see, like, takes this hard thing that go through to see all the people around you that's still rooting for you, that's still helping you, that's still, you know, there for you every single day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. Seeing the beauty in all of it makes it the life so much better.
And I had Ecclesiastes 4:9 written down. It says this verse states that God's design for people is to be in relationships, and that two are better than one. And we talk about this all the time. I remember reading this, and we read that, and it just talked about how much better. I mean, to me, I looked at it from a business standpoint, but it went way further than that, obviously.
Yeah. It
was way further than that. I looked at it from like, it's like two, or one person can always be beat, but two, you're there to bring each other up. And whenever one falls down, you can help the other one up.
Yep.
And that is the way I look about that, because guess what? Stuff I struggle with, Jill is absolutely amazing at. Stuff that she struggles with, I'm good at. So I think in reality, we complete each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're both here. And every time someone falls short, every time someone falls down or has that test or has, you know, is in that storm, then that other person, you know, they might actually be going through like one of the best parts of their life right now. They might have a successful business. They might have good relationships, so they're able to use that in order to help that person back up.
Yeah.
And it's like that with everything. Your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your friends, like sometimes, it takes having a talk with a friend sometimes to help pull you out of a tough time.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've had that multiple times. But doing it with the right people, like we said, like around the right people, and that's what God brings you. He brings you the right people.
For sure. If you just trust in God in order to do that, I think that's what's the most important thing, is to first grow your relationship with God, and then you start building yourself up, and then I feel like slowly but surely after that, God starts putting these key people in your life to start like developing your skills and start developing who you are as a person. He has a specific reason for everyone to be in your life.
Yes. Yep.
And he puts everybody in your life for a reason, and he throws these curveballs at you, because guess what? You might miss the first one, but if there's another one, I know it's coming down, I know exactly what it looks like, and it's going to be right down the middle, and I'm going to home run.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is.
Yeah. And what better to do it than not alone? Like, because you're gonna be hit with the curveball. That's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But are you gonna learn from it? Are you gonna build yourself? Are you gonna build your people around you and your relationship with God? Because you'll be standing on such solid ground that it doesn't matter what comes your way. You're gonna see the beauty in it.
I agree.
I think that was good. Lukey's ready for us to go play with him.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, he's over here trying to give me his toy. He's been laying right here the entire podcast, just
you see his head popping up every now and then, getting a little rub.
Luca's our biggest fan, so.
Mia's coming soon.
Yeah, Mia's coming soon.
She'll be the second biggest fan.
About middle of February. So she'll be on the podcast crying at some point, probably.
I'm sure.
All right, I'm just going to pray before we get out of here. Dear God, thank you for this day, God. Thank you for your word today, God. I pray that somebody can take it and use it in their lives, God. I pray that God, they're able to start building a better relationship with you, God. Start building a better relationship with themselves, God, so that they can start building the relationships around them, and they can start leading people down their path, God, so that they can start influencing people, so that they can start just helping people become better, God. God, I pray that you are able to just start growing people every single day, and so that they can become the best version of themselves that they can be, but not just to use for themselves, so that they can take it and use what they've been gifted with in order to bring other people up with them. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Yeah, Luca had to get some water. He's a little thirsty.
All right.
I hope y'all have an absolutely blessed day, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.